I never thought a single conversation could unravel years of shared memories, but that night it did. The room felt suffocating, like the air itself had thickened with every word we exchanged. His voice was calm, almost detached, while mine cracked under the weight of disbelief. It was the breaking point, the moment I realized the story I'd been living was coming to an abrupt and painful end. We sat across from each other, the space between us suddenly vast and cold. I searched his eyes, desperate for a flicker of the person I thought I knew, but there was only distance. The silence that followed his final words was deafening. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and erratic, as if trying to drown out the ache spreading through my chest. Leaving the apartment felt surreal. The streets outside were buzzing with life, indifferent to the chaos inside me. I walked aimlessly, the city lights blurring as tears threatened to fall. Every familiar corner seemed foreign, every face a reminder that my world had shifted in an instant, leaving me unmoored and vulnerable. That night's sleep was impossible. I lay awake replaying every moment, every argument, every laugh that now felt like a lie. The weight of what was lost pressed down on me, and I was swallowed by a dark wave of loneliness. It was as if the future I had imagined had evaporated, leaving only questions without answers. Days passed in a haze. Friends, voices became distant echoes, and I found myself retreating deeper into solitude. The familiar routine of life felt hollow, and the walls of my small apartment closed in tighter with each passing hour. I barely recognized the reflection staring back at me in the mirror, someone broken, unsure how to move forward. But amid the wreckage, a small spark stirred. One evening, I found myself scrolling through old photos, laughing quietly at moments I'd almost forgotten. It struck me then that those memories weren't just about him, they were about me, who I was, and who I could still become. A faint glimmer of hope began to pierce the gloom. I decided to take a walk, wanting to escape the suffocating walls and breathe in something new. The cool night air was sharp against my skin, and the city's rhythm pulsed around me. For the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of curiosity, not about the past, but about what lay ahead. It was tentative, fragile, but it was there. Slowly, I started reconnecting with old friends, those who had always been there beneath the surface. Their warmth and laughter reminded me that I wasn't alone, that life could still hold joy even after heartbreak. Each conversation, each shared coffee or stroll, chipped away at the walls I'd built around myself. One afternoon, a friend invited me to join a local art class. Skeptical but willing to try, I found myself surrounded by strangers, paintbrush in hand and uncertainty in my heart. But as colors spilled onto the canvas, a sense of peace began to wash over me. It was messy and imperfect, but it was mine, a new way to express what words couldn't capture. The weeks turned into months, and little by little, I pieced together a new version of myself. I learned to embrace the quiet moments, to find strength in vulnerability, and to celebrate small victories. The pain of the breakup hadn't disappeared, but it no longer defined me. Instead, it became a chapter, a beginning rather than an end. One evening, standing on a rooftop overlooking the city, I felt the weight of the past lift, just enough to let in a sliver of light. The horizon was awash with color, promising a new day. In that moment, I realized that sometimes the hardest endings are the ones that open the door to unexpected beginnings. And so, with the dawn breaking around me, I took a deep breath, ready to step forward into whatever came next, knowing that even in loss, there is the seed of hope waiting to grow. But the story didn't end there. Life, unpredictable and wild, had more twists in store. Just as I began to feel steady, the phone rang unexpectedly late one night. The voice on the other end was familiar yet distant, stirring a whirlwind of emotions I thought I had buried. It was him, apologizing, explaining, trying to reach through the silence that had grown between us. My heart thudded painfully, caught between the past's pull and the future I was trying to build. The conversation was a tangled mess of old wounds and tentative hopes, leaving me both shaken and strangely hopeful. I spent hours afterward wrestling with my feelings, the night stretching endlessly as memories collided with the present. Could I trust again? Was forgiveness possible? The questions spun in my mind, refusing to let me rest, reminding me that healing isn't a straight path, but a winding road full of unexpected detours. In the days that followed, I found myself writing more, letters to him I never sent, journal entries that spilled raw honesty onto the page. Writing became a lifeline, a way to make sense of the chaos and reclaim my voice. Each word was a step toward understanding, a way to confront the tangled emotions that churned inside. Through this process, I discovered a strength I hadn't known I possessed, a resilience born not from forgetting, but from facing the pain head-on. It was in these moments of quiet reflection that I began to see the full picture. Heartbreak was just one part of my story, not the whole. One afternoon, I met someone new, a stranger with kind eyes and a gentle smile who seemed to carry his own stories of loss and hope. Our conversations were slow and honest, unfolding naturally without pressure or expectation. It was refreshing, a reminder that connection can bloom even from the most unexpected places. With each shared laugh and thoughtful exchange, I felt the walls around my heart soften. Trust, once shattered, was cautiously being rebuilt, this time grounded not in fantasy, but in reality, in shared experiences and mutual respect. It was fragile, but it was real, and that made all the difference. The journey wasn't easy. There were setbacks and moments of doubt when the past threatened to resurface and cloud the present. But with every challenge, I learned more about myself, about forgiveness, about patience, and about the courage it takes to keep moving forward when the path is uncertain. And so, the breakup that once seemed like the end of everything slowly revealed itself as the catalyst for a new beginning, a beginning defined not by loss, but by growth, resilience, and the endless possibility of rediscovery.